creating content that catches people's eyes is always a challenge. I mean, when you think about it, just the thumbnail alone is something that is like a billboard. It's something that you want people to recognize quickly and be attracted to your content. So how do you go about setting that up? How do you do it easily, consistently? Well, today I'm going to show you how to do that using some existing tools you have and maybe some things that you don't have but might want to think about. So what's the easiest way to create your thumbnails? I kind of tease it at the beginning. What's the best way to do it? Well, first of all, you want to look and see what the niche that you're specializing in is doing in terms of their thumbnails, and that'll help you get a really good idea of what it is you need to be doing for your content. For instance, if your face is your brand, you're going to want things that show your face. And if there are other things that show your brand, like the style of font that you use or typeface, the colors that you use, the way that the thumbnail is laid out, that's up to you to decide. You just have to figure out what it is that you want to do. Okay, let's go through the steps. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and capture our image using our live streaming software. Then we're going to format that image however we need to format it in a photo editing tool, keeping in mind that some of the stuff you can do in your image capture tool. After your photo editing is done, you got it looking exactly like you want it, we're going to go through the process of checking it at a lower resolution and then exporting it so that you can use it. We're specifically targeting YouTube in this video, and you're obviously watching this on YouTube. However, any format in any platform, these steps will also apply. All right, so let's get started with step one. And hey, one thing, this video is entirely sponsored by me. That's right. I use my own money and my own time to put this video together for you guys, and hopefully you find it useful. If you do, a like and subscribe would be so greatly appreciated. And if you really like it, or you'd like to encourage more content like this, down below there's a link where you can buy me a coffee, and that goes straight into the channel. And also all the affiliate links down below, they all get reinvested back into the channel so I can continue to produce this content for you. So thanks for your time and enjoy the rest of the video. All right, I'm here at my desk now, and let's go ahead and jump into Ecamm and start working our magic. You can see here I am. So you go to the recording pull down menu and you just say save photo. Now what's cool about saving photo is that it allows you to simply save a JPEG image at your current streaming resolution. There's a little hitch though. If I do save photo, that means I have to either know the keyboard alternate, or I have to set up some kind of macro or go to the pull down menu. It becomes a little bit challenging. So I wanted to show you how to set this up on the Stream Deck to not only make it possible to have both hands available so you can do your screenshot if you're including your face, but also give you the ability to take multiple screenshots with different poses depending upon what you're looking for. I have my Stream Deck here right in front of me, and let me pop into the Stream Deck software here. I'm using a Stream Deck Plus. As you saw, it has 8 buttons, 4 knobs, and a little touch screen that allows you to control certain functions by touching them and then swipe left and right to navigate between pages. Here, I want to set up a keyboard shortcut for screen capture. So I'm going to select a multi-action button, and there's a reason for this. So I'm going to click on multi-action, drag it over into this one here, and immediately it pops up with actions. All right. And so what we're going to do here is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open just Ecamm Live. Just select that. And the reason why I set this open command is if I'm in another window and I forget to make Ecamm the primary application window, this allows me to bring it to the front essentially. And then I can issue a hotkey command, which is the next step. Because if I don't issue the hotkey command with Ecamm active, it'll try and do the hotkey command on some other application that has the system focus right now. So going back, we'll just go ahead and we're going to add in a hotkey. And I'm going to, at this point, remember it was Command Shift G. So if I do Command-Shift-G. That is now, and that's called, the title goes Command-Shift-G. I'm going to say take photo. I like to organize my Stream Deck, my buttons, so that if I go back and edit them, I can quickly see what I did, because I forget, like most people do. And so now what'll happen is if I click on System Open and then take a screenshot, let me go back into live demo mode here. Now I'm gonna hit that button, this particular button on the Stream Deck. I'm gonna hit it. It's gonna bring Ecamm to the front, and you see photo saved right there in that little window. That's great, but what's the problem? Well, it's not that much different from issuing the command from the keyboard. I still had to press the button. What you want to build in is a delay, is a timer, right? So that way you can set yourself up, get a pose going. If you have a product shot you need to take and you need to make that product shot there, you can get yourself situated first, press the button, give yourself 4 or 5 seconds, and take the photo. So let's go ahead and put in a delay. So I'll go back, I'll get out of live demo mode here, and we'll just go right back into the screen. And we're gonna build in a delay. You can see that's the very top menu item is delay. So I'm gonna put that in between open and take a screenshot. By default, it gives it 1,000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. I wanna put in something else. I'm gonna give myself 4 seconds. So I'm gonna do 4,000 milliseconds. Now, what I've done is I built in a delay. Again, we'll get out of, we'll put live demo mode back on, and I'll do the screenshot. I'll press the button. So I'm pressing the button now. You see it made Ecamm the focus, and I get 4 seconds, and then photo saved. There you go. So now it's working exactly like we expected. We can go back into, we'll get out of live demo mode here, and we will go to play audio, and I'm gonna play the audio. As soon as I press that button and Ecamm becomes the focus, I'm gonna tell it play audio. So I go into play audio here, and I'm gonna choose my file. In this case, I have a file that's already set up, countdown beep, it's an MP3 file. And now what I have is I've got basically a quick countdown beep that starts playing for me. And then I'm gonna put one more right before it takes the screenshot. So the delay is started, but right before it takes a screenshot, I'm gonna have like a camera, like a snap sound. So again, play audio, I'm gonna drag it here. And then this time I'm going to choose camera take picture. This is a sound that I downloaded from the Elgato marketplace. So I'm gonna tell it to play audio. Now we're ready to go. So what I've just introduced now is 2 sounds, 2 audio clues that my countdown has begun. And then when the picture gets taken, you'll know that as well. So here we go. Okay, so behind the scenes tip here. I set up that sound to take exactly 4 seconds. And of course the countdown is also 4 seconds. If you're going to play an audio file, make sure that that is the same length of delay that you put. So now we've got our screenshot in here. The last thing we want to do is just kind of customize the button. So go back up to the multi-action here, and I'm going to just change this button here. And I'm gonna pull from the Stream Deck icon library. I'm actually gonna type in camera. There it is. And so now I have a camera icon in there, and I can just call this screenshot. And there I am. So now I've got my button set up. I can now take a picture. Now let's go back and get out of a lot of this stuff, and I'm gonna show you how to set up some text so that you don't have to do it in an image editing tool. We'll get back into the main screen here. And so now I want to take a picture of this image here, this view. I mean, I could also, I have another camera set up here. I could switch to this one, but the background's just not as interesting. Now, that said, if I wanted to do this, I could put a green screen behind me, which would be great for layering things. So if I wanted a solid background behind me, so if I want to pull that background out, if I'm taking this into an image editing tool, I can do that. It's really cool. In this case, I'm just going to use my default background here, which is this one, and then we'll make some changes to it inside of Ecamm, and then a few other things inside the image editing software that we're going to get to in a second. So let's go ahead and add some text. in this case, I'll go into live demo mode just so you can see what I'm doing here. And I'll select the text overlay here. And you can see here, so I can call it something like, oh, I don't know, I can call it easy thumbnails. And I've got a border set up here, so I can do that. Now I've got this easy thumbnails. And of course with Ecamm, I can set this up exactly like I want. So now I've got my picture ready, and I can center that up just like I did and get out of live demo mode, and you can see here it is. So now what I want to do is I want to point down and then smile. That'll be the image that I use. So I'm gonna put the screenshot button on. And there's my image. So to prove it to you, let me go into my recordings folder, and I have the image right here. I'll just drag it in, and I will appear to not move, but I'm here still. See, there it is. Prove it to you. I'm still down here. So I've just created a thumbnail that I can use to put into my thumbnail for this particular video if I wanted to. Let's say I'm doing some A/B testing, right? That's really cool about the way YouTube works now, is that you can put in A/B testing. I think you can have like 3 or 4 thumbnails that you can test. So why not do that, right? And why not just have it so that you have multiple versions? So let's go. Right? And so now I have that image. You can see, there it is. Okay, that looks stupid, but you get my point. You can run through multiple versions of it and figure out which one works the best. And again, if you're using your face as your primary brand, Ecamm's got you covered. And the best part about it is using the exact same camera that you're using to do all of the other content that you're creating inside of Ecamm, which is great. You get the blur, you get the lighting, you get all the cool stuff that you can do with your camera. You can get that now and right into your thumbnail. Super easy. Now, granted, Ecamm's not the only way to do this, but it gives you an opportunity to do it much more easily because you're already in the software to begin with. I'm gonna jump into another product called Affinity Photo, and we're going to make the adjustments there. Affinity Photo is very much like any other image editing tool. It is both Mac and Windows compatible, and it has multiple features that are very similar to the image editing tools that you might be used to that require a subscription. However, this is a 6-month trial, and then it's a fixed cost for the lifetime of that particular whole number version. You don't have to worry about subscriptions or any of that other garbage. You upgrade when you want rather than paying a monthly fee and getting upgraded at the behest of the developer who's making the software, which I prefer personally. I've loaded in a template with Affinity Photo that gives me an idea of what this will look like. I can load up a template, which I've got here. I also have another template available for download below that will allow you to set up your screen size and make sure that all of your elements are in the right spot. Meaning, you can see in the lower right-hand corner, there's your time code. We want to make sure to avoid this lower right quadrant as much as possible with critical content. So that's just a placeholder that is in the spot where you need it to be, so you know that when you put content inside this particular template, what's going to happen to it. Now, I'm going to take the picture that I just took, and I'm going to drag it in, go up here. Now, already, this particular image is a little bit on the big side, so I want to scale this down. Right now, it is set to 3840 by 2160, which is normal for a 4K image, but I'm going to set this to 1920 by 1080, and boom. And this is what I would see on YouTube. And if I wanted to get rid of, for instance, that play button because it's distracting, I can see. So you can see now that the easy thumbnails text that I put here falls just outside of the first horizontal line, and it's not covering up or won't be covered up by the time code. Perfect. This is exactly where I want it. So I'm gonna turn off the template right now. We don't need that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and go to my text tool here, and I'm going to put live streaming. There we go. And we'll make some size changes here. This is something you can't do very easily inside of Ecamm, and that is text effect. So let's say I'm gonna put a outer glow, and let's make that radius. Need the intensity here. There we go. So now there's something about the thumbnails and just graphics in general on the internet. There's big bold letters with, you know, stark contrast, like the fill and the outline, just to make it pop. And that's fine, you can do that, but you can also be a little bit more professional about it. You don't have to look like everybody else. So I've got that set up. Let's say I wanted to make it maybe a slight offshoot of this color. I'll just go ahead and pick that red and then pop it over, and then maybe make it something like that. And then I'll do an inner glow. So now I've got this, and I want to set this up for exporting into YouTube. How do I do that? What's the best way to do that? Right now, this image is currently at 1920 by 1080, but how do you make it so that it's going to fit on a 1280 by 720? First, let's talk a little bit about different file sizes that you have to work with. So in order to properly understand how YouTube handles your thumbnails, you first have to understand just the file sizes in general. As I mentioned, this is being recorded in 4K, which means that the images are also in 4K, the screen captures that I've done. Now what I want to do is take this 4K image and scale it down. Now, what does it look like in terms of size? Let me show you. So this is what 720 looks like. So this is 1280 by 720. Okay, you can see it's that is the size that you will see in YouTube. What we have been working inside of Affinity Photo is this size here. This is called Full HD or 1080p. Sometimes you'll hear it 1080i, although you don't get I as much anymore. This is at 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. This is what most devices record at, and this is what most people stream at right now. This is the image size that we've been working with so far. However, 4K, you can see how much bigger that is. It's called Ultra HD, and this is 3840 by 2160. If I look at the file size for that image that I just took, the 4K image that I took inside of Ecamm is close to 12 megabytes for a single JPEG. That's clearly not going to fit into YouTube's 2 megabyte limitation. So what do? Well, you have to size it down. So let's figure out how to make that work. All right, let's go back into Affinity Photo so you can see how it's done. All right, so we're back in Affinity Photo. You remember this picture. And now I'm going to export this for a YouTube thumbnail. But before I do that, sometimes it really helps to view this particular image at its correct size. So if you're inside of YouTube, what would this look like versus what you're seeing on the screen? Because this is full screen right now. So if I wanted to, if I went into here and just zoomed out, maybe about that size, and that is what I'm going to see in YouTube. Can you see everything? Well, you got my face, it's right there. Easy thumbnails pops. Live streaming is a little bit on the dim side, so maybe I need to make some changes there. I'm gonna leave it for now, just for the sake of time, but you get my point. If you zoom out to about 33% or so, that gives you an idea of what this is gonna look like inside the YouTube desktop interface, and also pretty much for mobile too. So go back to full screen. This is full size now, and let's go to the export menu. So when you export a file inside of Affinity Photo or pretty much any utility, you just go to export and then you pick your size. And so in this case, I'm gonna do 1280, and because it's locked, it should automatically go to 720, which it does. Now it says underneath here, there's JPEG, best quality, and then there's other options here like resampling and blah, 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 blah. Stuff we don't need to worry about. But what I don't want you to do here is to resize your image inside of Affinity Photo. I want you to export it and let the export process resize it. So we're going to export this now, and we'll put it right where we just were. And we will call this thumbnail 1280. And we're going to export this one. And let's take a look at the size inside of Finder. All right, so in Finder here, looking at it, that 1280 image went from 11.6 megabytes to 774 kilobytes just by exporting it at 1280 by 720. And you can see there's the image. Now what you can do is simply use this as your thumbnail for YouTube. You're underneath that 2 megabyte limit. It meets all the requirements, at least in my book, as far as it's highlighting me. The title is very easy to read and it's clear. And the only thing, like I mentioned before, is that I might want to clean up the live streaming part of it. Maybe I take off the glow. Maybe there's some things that I could do. This is it. This is the process. So what we've done here, come up with your thumbnail and come up with your title first. Then go in and start taking your pictures. And you can, the best part about doing this in Ecamm is that you can always come up with just, if you're going to feature yourself, great. But if you're going to feature something like a pose with a product, then that's more specific. But, you can always take a picture of something like this or any product that you may have. You can just hold it up like this against a green screen and then use your photo editing software to isolate this. And then you can go back into Affinity Photo or even in Ecamm and pull in a transparent background PNG into Ecamm and then place it wherever you want it. Remember, the ability to control and make your own thumbnails is one of the greatest parts of the creation process, in addition to the content that you're posting on YouTube. So keep doing what you're doing, keep striking out and making a difference, and take cues from other people. Look at other people's screenshots, look at other people's thumbnails, get a sense of what works. And really all you have to do is look at that particular creator's page on YouTube, look at their channel. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate taking the time to join me on this. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Again, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. We would love it, love it, love it. And we would love even more if you were able to kick a little back in the Buy Me a Coffee. And that's also in the link down below. Thanks again. Until next time, I will see you later.